Alrighty, in this video we're going to talk about how to set up your commander for research. Same kind of philosophy also applies if you're doing construction or troop training or just sitting there collecting resources or even combat or defense. But right now we're going to talk about the right side of your commander skill tree, which has all the economy and efficiency unlocks. Excuse me. Alrighty, so as you can see, I've got some defensive gear on now. We're going to ignore presets for this one because if you already know how to set up your tree, chances are you can set up a preset fairly well as well. If you have any questions about presets, just ask anybody that talks about using them, and they'll be able to explain to you. What we're going to do for right now is set up my commander for research. So I'm going to change my gear here. Have some research gear already made. As far as mods go, you're going to want to install any mods that will help increase your research speed. This will knock a significant number of time off of your research. As you can see, this one here just gives me +5, +25, plus 2.5 again, +5. Doesn't seem like a lot on paper, but once you combine them all, you get a 32.5% bonus if you've unlocked the 4th slot and you've done the research for mod set bonus. But that's a little far ahead of the game. Right now, we're just going to talk about modding your gear for what you're doing and setting up your commander for what you're doing. As far as mods go, there's mods out there that can increase your manufacturing research, your battle tactics research, tons of stuff. So look at all your mods and find out what works best for you for what you're doing and leave it at that. You don't want to go installing attack mods in your research gear or rebel attack mods in your research gear or construction mods in your research gear. If you have research gear, install research mods. If you have construction gear, install construction mods. If you have attack or defense gear, install those types of mods. Don't mix them up because you're just going to hurt yourself in the long run. And you're going to spend a ton of gold uninstalling them and reinstalling them, and it's a big pain in the ass. So, as I said, I already have a piece here that's outfitted. I'll just go ahead and equip that. We'll do the same thing with our helmet. Now, one thing I did want to mention, if you have any of these Halloween helmets, they are equipped with a 50% upkeep reduction. Combine this with a normal large upkeep reduction clickable of 50%, and you have 100% upkeep reduction. What does that mean? You have 0 upkeep, which means your troops don't need any food, and your base just produces food if you're below your threshold for maximum capacity. If you're over that, it's not going to really do you any good, but it'll prevent you from losing food, which is very nice. That was just a little side note. Again, just installing some research gear here. How am I finding this gear so fast? It's because they're all modded the same. That'll definitely help you. Once you start learning what the mods look like, you'll be able to find your gear in a jiffy. Now you're probably looking at my commander and going, how is he able to install 3 accessories? Well, there's some research in the manufacturing research tree which allows you to unlock the 3rd equipment slot for accessories. And there's also, or the 4th equipment slot for accessories. I'm sorry, let me start over. The 3rd equipment slot for accessories, and there's also research and manufacturing, which allows you to unlock the 4th mod slot. That's a little ahead of the game. Right now, we're just going to worry about installing the right gear, modding the right gear, and setting up your tree. Okay, so I got all my research gear installed. I already have it on a preset, so what I'm going to do real quick is switch back and forth the difference after we're done setting this up. At the bottom, you'll see an orange button that says skill points. Right now, as you can see, my tree is completely set to the left. That's because I was in a defensive setup before. Now I am going towards a research setup. So what you're going to want to do is hit this reset skills button. Now you might own a commander skill reset. You can get them from the Alliance store. If you don't have any, it's just going to offer you the ability to pay with gold. It's 1,000 gold. Chances are you probably got 10 times that in your gifts yesterday, maybe more. All right, so all of our skills are reset. As you can see, everything from the bottom up is locked, except for these first two. Now, the only time you will go to the left side when you're setting up a skill set for research is you're going to put 2 points into troop attack. Why? Because after you add 2 points to food production, you unlock research. So we'll max that out. As you can see, this line is grayed out. So what do we need to do that? 1 more point. And now as we do this, we're going to work our way down the tree. We're only going to spend the minimum number of points available to unlock the next step. How do we know what the next step requires? Well, we'll look at the one that's locked. And it says right here, you need 5 skill points in food production too. So we'll add 5 skill points, and as you can see, it flashes and unlocks. Now, most of the ones going down are going to be 5 points from here on out. So I'm just going to bust through these real quick, get where I need to be. All right, we just unlocked research 2. We're just going to max that out because we're building a research set, so our focus is going to be on research. And again, back to just putting the minimum number of points in to get the next unlock. Oh, what happened here? Well, as you get lower down the tree, the requirements go up. So now you're seeing some pretty cool stuff here, like troop load and receive capacity. I'll explain all that when we go back up the tree. We're just digging down. Now, because I'm commander level 64, I do have a lot more points than most players that are just going to be setting up for research. But once you get to this point, you can also see what you'll be able to do once we get to the bottom here. Still going down. Alrighty. Now, because this is going to be a primarily supportive role, I'm going to be dumping a few points into these support skills. These are some new skills that have been released by Mobile Strike, which allow a player with a high enough commander level to offer their fellow teammates some assistance with whatever tasks they're doing. For example, this one here, research support. If I max this out, I can help any player in our alliance with 400% research boost. Pretty darn cool. Same thing with training, troop training, and construction. Right now, there's not a whole lot of people in need of construction support because most of our bases are built pretty well. However, if somebody shouts out they're doing a construction project, I'll probably bump some points into that. Now, this one here, Enhancement Efficiency, why am I enhancing that? Well, as you can see in the description, it reduces the cost required to enhance my equipment. Now, as you get new equipment, you're going to want to go into your combat lab and you're always going to want to enhance it. And if I can, reduce the cost by 10%, that's fine by me because that's 10% more towards something else. Prototype gear duration, same thing. There's tons of prototype gear which can be manufactured in your armory. I would just prefer to max this out entirely just based on that because you really want your duration to be high. Actually, when setting up an attack preset, I may end up coming back just to boost up that prototype gear duration if for some reason I'm using prototype gear in an attack scenario. Death row boost, I'm probably not going to boost too much right here. I will, however, boost the troop training. We'll bump that up to 400% as well. So right now, I'm in a supportive role. I'm able to assist Alliance members with research, commander training, and I've reduced the cost of enhancing my equipment right now. Like I said, I won't put anything into construction. I probably won't put anything into death row boost duration. But resource help capacity is going to come in handy. This, as you can see in the description, it increases the amount of resources I can send at one time. I just bumped up the amount of resources I can send at one time by 10 million, in addition to what I'm already able to send. The upkeep efficiency is pretty darn good. If you don't have a Halloween mask, you can throw a large upkeep reduction, an upkeep efficiency, install food production and upkeep reduction mods into your gear, and you can probably have enough of an upkeep reduction to support around 65 million troops, depending on how they're spread out. Now, I have 100% upkeep reduction right now, so I'm not even going to dump any points into upkeep efficiency. However, I am going to keep going with resource send capacity. Just bumped it up another 3 million there. I'll probably be doing a bit of gathering, so I'll bump up deployment speed so I can get to those resource tiles faster. I'll skip troop queue because that's a training item. So if I were making a training set, I would be going into this side of the tree to bump up troop queue. I'll also bump up my resource receive capacity, simply because I want to be able to get as much as I can from my fellow members. I'll also bump up troop load, because this enables my troops to hold more, which means I send less troops, which is always good. Alrighty. Now, as I said, if you don't have 100% upkeep, it's good to bump some points into the upkeep efficiency, resource production, food production, things like that. The stone production, oil production, iron, basically just bump those up to whatever you want. I mean, if you're running pretty close to zero a lot of the time in one particular resource, by all means, bump that up. But as I said, right now I'm not hurting for resources. I don't foresee myself going near zero anytime soon on any of it. So I'm just going to go into more of a supportive and gathering role, so I'll just be bumping up those stats. Now, you don't have to use all your points. As you can see, I got a bunch left, and really nothing to spend them on. You can always go back down the tree and throw some more points into something else, such as the construction support. Why not? If somebody needs some help, I can just help them right away. I suppose I could throw on the death row boost duration, because if I had just recently killed a commander and I'm switching to doing research because there's no attacking going on, it doesn't hurt to have that death row boost last a little bit longer. Again, there's the Upkeep Efficiency. You can throw that on. If you have 0 food, you're going to have more food if you throw on all the upkeep related items. I got 14 whopping points left. So what do I do here? Well, there may be a time when I need to train some troops in a pinch and I can't switch my gear. So let's throw that into troop queue. And I've got a little bit of a bump there. All right, so that is all completed. Same thing with the rebel target skill tree. What I like to do here is, I actually just kind of figured this out yesterday. I'm experimenting with it. Same thing as before, it's a much smaller tree. Same thing as before, just spend the minimum number of points to get to the next level. And remember, at any point, if you see something with a lock on it and you don't know how to get there, just tap it. It'll tell you what you need. Okay, now in this third level, as you can see, I used this to unlock these guys. I only put the minimum into energy cost reduction and energy recovery to get down to here. Now, this is where it gets kind of tricky. If I'm sitting in research gear, I probably have a low amount of energy because I'm not wearing my rebel gear. So I'm thinking if I bump my maximum energy limit all the way down the board, I'll have a giant amount of space to store energy. So when I switch to my rebel gear, I won't be starting with a low amount of energy. Does that make sense? Okay, next. I'm not going to be attacking rebels too much in my research gear, but I will be doing some collecting. So I use 10 points in commander attack to unlock troop load on rebel tiles. So spending 25 points in troop load on rebel tiles will again decrease the amount of troops I need to send out on those tiles, which is awesome. Again, not doing a whole lot of attacking, but I got to use the points to get to the next one I want, which is the gather speed on the rebel tiles. If I deploy out on a rebel tile, I'm not going to send a lot of troops, and they're going to collect really fast. Win-win, 100%. All right, we won't be putting any points into energy cost reduction or commander attack because like I said, we probably won't be sending a whole lot of attacks. So with the last 13 points I have, I'm just going to throw it into commander attack in case somebody needs like a 2% hit on a rebel or something. I can at least send some kind of a hit to help out without switching. So there's the rebel target skill tree. There's your commander skill tree, all set up for research and supportive roles. Here's all the gear installed. I did explain mods before, so we're going to take a look at my skills now. Or my boosts, rather. Alright, so as you can see right here, I have an 1,142% research speed. That's about as high as I can go right now without any extra boosts. Now, in your boosts, you might see something that says research here. You can always use a 30% research boost or whatever the percentage might be. If you're doing manufacturing research, you can do manufacturing research boosts. There's traps research boosts. There's train speed boosts, all kinds of stuff. There's also the insignias. Now, this one here is the technician's insignia, which will add 40% to your research speed. So I was at like 1142 or whatever. This will make it 1182. It lasts for an hour, cools down for an hour, and then you can use it again for an hour. This thing, it just keeps going over and over and over again. So don't worry about using it and it going away. If you use it, it lasts for an hour, cools down, and then goes for another hour until you unequip it. There's also another one available, which I like a little bit less. It was one of the first insignias they released, which is called the Lab Rat. It adds 30%, lasts for an hour, but it takes an entire day to cool down. That's just ridiculous. So if you're doing a big research push for like an hour straight and you have both insignia slots unlocked and you're able to use 2 at one time, use the Lab Rat and the technicians. If you've only got one Insignia slot available, use the Technician's Insignia. You're going to be able to reuse it every 2 hours. So that can increase your research speed. The boosts can increase your research speed, and then the commander support skill I was talking about earlier, you can actually send your commander to another base and help increase their research speed, which is pretty nice. So that is pretty much summing it up for research. Let's give you an example here. We have my research, which is not in the condition I would like it to be right now. So we're going to look for something that can be done there. Okay, we've got, there's a health. No. There we go. Okay, so just as an example, you see the original time here is 40,305 days. That's like the remainder of a human being's natural life and then some. With my research speed, I've knocked it down to 3,245. Pretty darn good, right? Well, let's see what it would look like with just no points being put into research, no gear helping you with research. You know, you're only getting the research boosts from anything you might have researched, already at your commander level. So if we look at my boosts now, we were at over 1,100% before. Now my research speed is only 80%. Big difference. Gear, mods, skill set. So with that whopping 80% boost, we're going to look at that same research item. A 40,305 day research is now only reduced to 22,391. Huge difference. It's about 6 times as much as what it would be if I was wearing my research gear. I would never ever start a research like this intentionally. Okay, so I hope that helped explain research a bit for you guys and why it's so important to have your research gear on and modded and your skills set, and basically using all available in-game items and insignias to help you in your research tasks. Again, I hope this helped a lot for you. Got any questions, just ask somebody who knows. Don't ask me because I've already done this video for you. Just kidding. Take care.